I think I'm live, but it says that it's setting up. So I'm just gonna wait a second. Okay, looks like I'm on. Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Ashley from ProfessorAshley.com. I hope you guys are doing really well today. Yes, I'm on a little bit early, but my baby's napping. And I thought that it would be a really great opportunity to hop on now instead of later when it's not guaranteed. So, oh yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that look at me, I'm kind of dressed like as if it's summer. Still cold outside, still in New Orleans, still in the same Airbnb, but look what I did there. So I've resorted to doing one of the, doing the old turn the oven on 500 degrees and open it up trick. And it's nice and cozy in here. We're very comfortable and I can just, just sit like this with no problems. So I'm great. That's my update. All right, so you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and answer some questions for you about healthcare administration as usual. And if anyone has any questions while I'm on here, get them in the chat and hopefully I will see them before I sign out. And if not, then I will, I'll answer them at some point tomorrow, the next day, whenever I get to it. Will not ignore you. So we'll try not to. Okay, so first question I got, hi ma'am, I'm bachelor's in science and nursing completed. I was confused to take which course after my bachelor's degree. Can you recommend any other? So which degree or which courses, I don't know if you mean like a certificate program, which certificate programs you should take after, or if you're talking about if you should go on for a master's degree, in which master's degree you should get after you've done your nursing. My thing is if you want me to give you a really good detailed response about what I think you should do, you got to give me what your goals are. And because that's what it really comes down to. It really depends on what your goal is. So I really don't think that you should play the game, where you finally accomplish something and then you go like, I'll do this next. And then you're there and you're like, oh, what's good? What's available? Oh, I'll go that way next. That I think is a recipe for disaster. I think that's how you end up just in a mediocre career. You're not really following your dreams or your goals in that situation. I don't think you're going to go too far because you're always going to be switching and changing and pivoting and this and that and blah. And you don't have real direction. So what I should give you after nursing, it all comes down because there's so many choices, so many amazing choices. There's so many ways you can take your nursing career. It's really exciting. Okay, so don't get confused, don't get scared, do not give yourself a fearful mindset or a mindset of lack, like there are less opportunities out there, because their opportunities are so much. And given that the more we progress into the future, the more opportunities there are for you to develop your career. So we're always inventing new things. Science is always coming up with something new. And then also if you're paying attention to what's going on in healthcare, we're looking at the past as well. So we're also incorporating and normalizing a lot of alternative medicines. And yes, nurses do have a role in that as well. So there's so many ways you could take your nursing career. My biggest question that I would ask you is, do you plan to stay working on the clinical side? Or do you think you want to go to the administration side? Do you want to be more of a manager, an administrator, and maybe even become an executive later? Or are you thinking, nah, I want to do more nursing. I want to be working with patients all day, and I really want to specialize and develop my career in that direction. Because if that's the case, then what I would do, if you want to stay clinical, I would say, why don't you get your MSN? Be a nurse practitioner. And then that way, and also explore different specialties that interest you. So get your MSN, explore different specialties, and eventually you're going to go into this direction where you have a lot of authority within the nursing field. You're going to, when you become a nurse practitioner, you get to a certain level where you can write your own prescriptions. You don't have to wait for a physician. Usually there's a physician that supervises, but in most cases, you have more authority, a lot more responsibility for the patient. And there's a lot you can do with that. So you can actually start specializing in specific areas. It could be a lot of fun for you. And then also another thing is, if you are working in the United States, I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but I know that in the United States, when you are working as a nurse practitioner or even a physician assistant in rural areas in the United States, some rural areas are so small that they can't really afford to have a physician working there 24/7 in the hospital, right? So the law there are policies that do allow a nurse practitioner to be completely in charge. Okay, so nursing is your thing. That may also be something you want to think about. But if you're thinking administration, now I want to be more of a boss. I want to work on the business back end. I want to do something in that. Think about what interests you in business, in the business of healthcare. Are you interested in finance, marketing, things like that, right? Or even public health, if you're interested in public health. Look at what you're interested there. And I would say go for a master's degree and either get it like a master's of public health degree or get a master's of healthcare administration and start moving in that direction. Okay, so in that way, you will still have to go ahead and work as a nurse for a while. You're going to have to get that clinical experience, and but every chance that you can get, start looking for entry-level jobs that do require a nursing degree, but they're going to be more desk jobs. Okay, so while you're getting your master's degree, I would look at more desk jobs, more clerical work for a nurse, maybe become a charge nurse or, go in that direction, right? And then so eventually you're going to be able to develop a career in administration. And what I said before, and I'll say it again, plan ahead. So do this right, because this is your life. You don't want to just half-ass it, right? This is your life. So sit down and actually figure out which side you're interested in. Try to figure out where you want to be in 5 years. Do some research. Find a job title that you think you really can see yourself as, and start to reverse engineer how you can get there. And that would be the best thing I can help you with. And yes, there are plenty of certificate programs that you can just add on, and it's going to make you way more employable. And it's going to really develop your skills in healthcare, of course. But there are certificate programs on either or. So clerical and clinical side. So you really had to figure out exactly which direction you're planning to go to. So I hope that answers your question. Next question. It says, currently obtaining my MHA from Widener University. Is it worth it to pursue a doctorate? So is it worth it to pursue a doctorate? Okay, so, obviously I have firsthand experience with this. Where do you see yourself? What is your ultimate goal? I think that's really what it does come down to. So after maybe 5 to 10 years, what do you really want to do? Do you think that you want to continue working in corporate? Or I don't know where you work now, but if you're getting an MHA, do you think that you're going to go down the corporate route? Do you expect to maybe work in hospitals or like a research facility? Or wait, I think my brother's on this. Bilal, is that you? Okay, anyway, you're interrupting me. Stop. Okay. So what I would say is, if you think that you are going down the corporate route and you don't plan on academia at all, then it might not, it's not necessary to go for a doctorate. You can, and especially if you plan to go high level executive, you can get a doctorate, and it will benefit you regardless. It will always benefit you, but it is a lot of money and it's so much effort. I mean, speaking from experience, getting a doctorate will make you go bald. It will give you gray hair. You are going to be fighting. You're going to feel like you're fighting this never-ending battle until it finally happens and you finally accept your work. Is it worth it? I would, in my opinion, if you're going the academia route, yes, you have to get your doctorate, because you're not going to be respected in academia as an academic with just a master's degree. Okay, so like I said, academia, heck yes, get your doctorate. You need to. It's definitely worth it in that respect. But if you're going down the corporate route, I don't know, maybe not. You don't really need it, and you can go very far. You can still be a CEO of a hospital without a doctorate degree. Yes, a doctorate degree will definitely help you. It will for sure help you, especially if you're going like really, you're planning to go like, you want to be at the top. Yeah, it will definitely help. But it really just depends on what your goals are, how far you plan to take your career. If you plan to go very far in the corporate route, it'll help you. But if you're planning to just, you want to be a director of some department in a hospital or something like that, an MHA is good. You're good. You should be fine. All you will need is to develop your skills through experience in healthcare. And that's really the best that you can do. And then, of course, network like crazy and just be everywhere, right? And really, really build yourself up. Utilize every resource and become very important. And in that respect, you probably will never need a doctorate. But like I said, if you're going the other route, academia, for sure, you need a doctorate, because trust me, I mean, I started out working in academia. I was a professor for several years without a doctorate degree, and they act like you're a child. You're not very well respected just as an adjunct. And then when you move into just being a full-time lecturer, they don't take you as seriously unless you have associate professor and you're a tenure. They don't care about you. Okay, so if you want more respect in academia, definitely get your doctorate. It's definitely worth it. I hope that answers your question. I hope that really gives you an idea of where you want to go. Okay, so we do have another question. What's the difference between master's science in management versus master's in science in business and healthcare administration? What is the difference? There is probably not going to be much of a difference at all between the two degrees. If you're comparing different degree programs from different schools, more than likely those are just two different titles, because there isn't too much of a difference at all there. Both of these degrees will focus on the business of healthcare and how to run a healthcare department, a healthcare facility, a healthcare organization. They're all just going to help you, run a healthcare business. So I would say there isn't much difference at all. In fact, when I did my master's degree, when I first started that master's degree program, they called it a Master's in Science in Healthcare Management. And then by the end of the program, when I finally graduated, they had already changed the title to that program. And it was called a Master's in Science in Healthcare Administration. Okay, so I think in that situation, Jays, it's really just, and they were playing with words. It's what that institution prefers to call it compared to the other institution. And in the grand scheme of it, when you go out there and get your jobs, it's really not going to make a difference at all. You're not going to qualify for one job and not qualify for another job. So most jobs in healthcare administration, healthcare management, you're not going to really be looking at job titles that have administration in the title. Some jobs do have administration in the title, but many do not. And think of it more as just like you are working on the business side of healthcare. That's really all it is. So now you're getting a master's degree that focuses on how to run a business in healthcare. And that's what you're doing. So when you go out to get a job, you're going to be looking at job titles that play some role on the business side of healthcare. So I hope that helps you. Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Hope you guys are all doing well. Please ask me more questions so I can get them out to you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow.